So Alex Phillips appeared on Dan Wootton's YouTube channel. And for anybody that doesn't know, both of these two have been presenters on GB News before. Alex Phillips until very recently. And she came on as a former MEP for the Brexit Party, but to talk about a documentary that she'd led in partnerships with some TV company, and it looked at the statistics and comparison between men from Islamic countries and attacks on Western women. Now, before I tell you what it came with, I want to show you the audio and talk about this. But I want to point out one thing straight away, that these numbers are very, very disturbing. And for anybody out there that wants to say it's right wing or it's racist, to me, you must point out these things. Then we can say, what the hell are we doing as a country if we don't point this type of stuff out? So please listen to this clip.
That's where we started. We looked at statistics in Denmark, in Sweden, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in France. In all of these countries, the trend was undeniable. Rapes had gone up significantly. Sexual assaults had gone up significantly. The levels of immigration had gone up significantly, but critically, where they record that data, we knew we could find out who was committing those crimes. And in all of those countries, the proportion by which sexual assaults and rapes were being committed by men for Middle Eastern and North African countries was to a factor of 3, to a factor of 4. We're talking in some cases about 50% plus of rapes in a country being carried out by men not even born there, which when you then look at that per capita, in terms of how the percentage of the population, you can see that we have a problem here. Now, just before we went to edit, we had actually were in the process of scripting and finished all our interviews. All of a sudden, the Telegraph.
So there you see, Alex Phillips said that they found, now it was very hard to find information out about the UK because we don't print this type of, make public this type of information. So they had to start by going around all the European countries and gain data from there, and then as well as the UK. But in some cases, when it comes to rape of Western women, 50% of all those are done from people from Islamic countries. And then when you compare that to the very low percentage of Muslims that actually live in countries like the UK, you realise just how frightening that is. And then there's a couple of questions. The first question is, why do we seem to have this pattern forming? Whether it's the grooming gangs, whether it's this documentary, why do we have this pattern where it seems far, far more likely per capita, remember that, because that's what the left will say, there's people of, when you look at the numbers, just as likely to do it who are white British people. You've got to remember the percentage of people over here that are Muslim compared to British. Why does it seem to be a pattern of people with that faith committing these heinous crimes? And this is what we must talk about. This is why the government must do a study so we can learn from that. And let's say it's a particular 2 or 3 countries which just so happen to be Muslim and it's not about Islam, then we've got to stop those people coming from them countries. And that would actually help other Muslims who are in this country or in other European countries by identifying what the problem is. But one of the problems that I think may be is that a lot of men from these countries just do not value women in general, but especially white British women. And when you devalue somebody to the extent that they do, then committing these heinous crimes is no big deal whatsoever to them. So well done to, I called her Jess Phillips then, that would have definitely been an insult to Alex Phillips. But well done to Alex Phillips for speaking out. She supported Tommy Robinson recently, which I would only guess is why she's not on GB News anymore. And now she's coming out with documentaries like this. And I just want to say regarding GB News, who are probably, along with Talk TV, our best TV channel that we have. But it does seem that they'll only go so far when it comes to speaking the truth. And anybody who speaks too out of line, they still fire them off very, very easy. I think the channel, Dan Wootton's YouTube channel, is absolutely amazing. And I think it's the best thing for him no longer being on GB News. He seems to have whatever guests he wants coming on. He has a good relationship with everybody from the centre to the right of politics. And both of them are really doing some good work. But don't get me wrong, even I weighed up, should I do this video today? Because you can just see the left coming out and calling you racist. But let's be honest, we all have friends who are Muslim. And, if they saw this video, then they would also be offended. But it is more important that we must keep girls and women in our country safe. And we can't do that unless we find out exactly what is the pattern between Islam and attacks on white Western girls and women. Like I said before, it may be that it is more down to ones from Pacific countries and it's the culture in the country rather than the religion. But unless we look at that, and I know that it's going to come across as if it's purely just from Muslims, and that won't do the Muslims in this country any good. Or let me know in the comment section, do you think it does have something to do with their religion? Is there something in their religion that makes this okay? Or is it the culture from the countries they're coming from? But whatever it is, it must stop. And we need a political party like Reform UK, hopefully, that will stop this type of mass immigration coming in. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.